Hey y'all, it's Christine with Oak Tree Jewelers with a quick tutorial on how to take care of your jewelry at home with things you probably already have. If you have done any research on jewelry cleaning, you will see that there is a plethora of information out there, from mild soap to ammonia, from lukewarm water to boiling hot water. I'm going to tell you, stick to the milder end or you may come to a jeweler sooner than you'd like. To help you understand that, all you really need is a liquid dishwashing soap with a grease cutter, because you are essentially cleaning out body oil from underneath the gallery work, which is what holds your stones up. Like a tub soap is a cleaning agent, but if it's not scrubbed down after each use, you're going to have buildup. And sometimes you won't even notice that that is building up. And because of it, you won't notice that the luster is declining. So, as I said, something as simple as a liquid dishwashing soap, a soft bristle toothbrush used is fine, a small container, specifically a small container, so that should you lose a stone, you will find it, and that is not a big deal, trust me, it happens. Lukewarm water, or as hot as you can get it from the tap. I do not suggest boiling water, because if you do have softer stones, that water will find those cracks and it can expand and cause problems. It's just not necessary. So as hot as you can get from the tap, a few drops of your liquid soap, stir it up a little bit, drop your jewelry in there. We're talking rings, we're talking earrings, you know, like I said, anything that has gallery work where you have stones, you're going to get, there's a lot of spaces in there, and like this, those little diamonds. This one has a high setting, so there's a lot of space underneath there that can get dirty, and of course those friction backs. Pendants, I know some people will wear these for months at a time. Those can get gross. These rings, it's a channel set, which means that the stones aren't set on prongs, they're actually set inside of a row of gold there. It's a little channel. And then of course stuff like this where you have a lot of work and all those edges can get filthy. Put them in there for 5 to 15 minutes. You're just wanting that gunk to dissolve and release. When the water's gotten cool, get your toothbrush, just like you would anything, clean it, try to get underneath there. If you have an open back, get that toothbrush in there, clean it out. I would suggest doing it over the small bowl, not the sink, just in case any of those stones happen to be loose. They will be caught in that container. Just stick it in a Ziploc baggie, take it to your local jeweler. It's not a problem. And you will find too, with older jewelry or jewelry that you wear constantly, that gold will wear down after time. And the things that are holding them, these typically prongs, these little gold pieces that you see, in this case there are 4 prongs for each stone. These are very large because Tommy likes to make things secure, but they will eventually wear down. Now, I don't wear jewelry when I come home. I just don't. I've gotten into the habit of not wearing it, and then 6 months of staying home, my jewelry is really clean right now. But this is also a great time to clean it. You got some extra time, right? No. When you are in the process of cleaning it, if no stones fall out, fantastic, but you can still check to make sure that they're not loose. With a toothpick or just your fingernail, go along the tops of those stones and you are just rubbing it across, forward, backwards, and you're trying to see if that stone actually seesaws. If it does, it doesn't mean that your stone's going to fall out right away, but it does mean that it's loose. Next chance that you get, go to a jeweler. If you can see that the prongs are thin, I mean paper thin, less than paper thin, you'll see a very thin, little tiny bits of gold holding those in. I would suggest not wearing those. One swing of the arm hit a door frame or a desk and you might lose that, and if it's not at home, you may not be able to find it. But again, if you do lose it, put it in a baggie, take it to a jeweler, or they can replace it if you can't find it. It's not a big deal. I know we put sentimental value into everything, but if it's a very sentimental piece, I would suggest checking it regularly. Ammonia. You will see some suggestions for ammonia. I suggest not using it. If you have, again, referring to the older rings where it may have been passed down, you don't know how many times it's been sized, you don't know if rings have been tipped, and that's where they flow solder on the tops of those prongs to strengthen them. All of that requires more alloy. Quick summary of what jewelry is. Gold, 24 karat gold is pure. You can actually peel it with your finger. You can scratch it and peel that off. It's very, very soft material. It's usually not in most jewelry, the everyday jewelry that you would wear. And it's certainly not in prongs. If that was in your prongs, your diamonds would fall out all the time. So the smaller the number, so when you get down to 18, 14, 10, you have more alloys in there. And that's not a bad thing. That's what actually keeps it strong. So a 10 karat ring is much stronger than a 24 karat ring, which means it's going to last longer. And if you bang it up against the door, it's not going to football shape on you. It's just a matter of preference. I usually just do 14 karat. It's readily available to us, but I don't really have that big of a preference. I actually kind of like silver more so. But solder uses even more alloys so that it will flow into cracks and crevices, so that it will adhere to the existing gold. So because it has more alloys, when you put ammonia on it, ammonia will attack those alloys and can cause what's known as pitting. And that is literally how it sounds. It pits the gold, and so you have to take it to a jeweler, have them polish it below that surface, so you're losing a lot of metal. Again, it's not a bad thing, but it's a unnecessary trip to the jeweler. And if you have prong work done, if you've had tipping, it could actually weaken that to the point of you losing stones. So just be careful with it. I don't see a point in actually having to use ammonia. If you need something that strong to clean your ring, then go see a jeweler. They will use an ultrasonic, which uses sound waves. They will polish it, get it below that scratch's surface. They will put it back in the ultrasonic to clean it, deep clean it, and then they will steam it, and it'll look just like it did the day it was brand new. Unless it has fancy engraving on it, that's a different story. See, I could go on for days on this stuff. I think that's it. Keep with your mild dishwashing soap. Try to clean your rings. If you wear them every day, at least once a month, just throw them in that warm water, clean them up, dry them really good. When you're washing your hands, if you just want to keep that jewelry on, just take a minute to take it off for a second. And it's also a good time to make sure that it still fits. Too often people have to have their rings cut off, and it's a scary thing, and it does a lot of damage to the ring. So just make sure it fits. If it doesn't, go to the jeweler. It's not a big deal. Whether they have to just stretch it, whether they have to size it, it's worth it in the end to not have to cut it. I think that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. I was hoping for 5 minutes, and here we are on 8 because that's how I roll. Love y'all. Bye.